What's up, guys? Welcome to the original Bama Tailgate Show. This is the recording that we're doing right now. Jake Coker and Mick Gillespie. We do another show, and I wanted to promote that show on this show, and I'm going to do that on the radio show as well. So a lot of shows going on here, but what we're doing is on Roll Tide Pods, which is part of Disrupt the Media, the Next Round guys. Jake and I get together twice a week, and we put episodes out. So make sure that you check that out. And you see, they're long session shows. Some of them are over an hour long. We just cut up about Alabama football and different stuff. And we'd love you to join us on there. And then obviously on here as well. And this show, the Tailgate Show, is going to air live 5 to 7 from the floor Bama on Friday. And then it'll play across the state of Alabama on Saturday. So you guys are getting the behind-the-scenes sneak peek of what will be on radio. You like that? Is that confusing enough to you?
I'm just here to answer any questions. I'll let you handle the logistics.
Yeah, the funny thing is that we're talking like it's Saturday, so don't be confused out there in digital land about what's going on. Is because that's not the reality is that we're recording it now for them. All right, here we go. Welcome back to the original Bama Tailgate Show, and our show is always brought to you by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, a proud American brewery, and Cheryl Yuengling, part of the ownership group, 6 generations of Yuengling in the making, so that's great-grandfather's grandfather all the way back, right? She went to Alabama. She went to school with us. She puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. And if you're looking for an alternative right now to Mick Ultra, try Yuengling Flight, because I know a lot of you guys are asking about that, and that's what you need to try. All right, today Alabama takes on Texas A&M. It's a 2:30 game, and it is great to be joined by my partner on Roll Tide Pods, Elephant in the Room, for you guys to check out, Jake Coker, guy that played there. What's up, man? Roll Tide.
Man, excited about the game today. The line scares me a little bit, as I think it does everybody else. Playing an experienced guy in Max. Guy seems to adjust well to every look he sees on defense. Alabama's got their hands full. A&M's defense shows a lot of looks and really gets after the quarterback. So kind of a perfect storm for Alabama, I think. But, again, we got the athletes too, and I think we pull it out in a close one.
Talk about playing for both of these coaches. You're the one that has the perspective here. You played at Florida State for Jimbo Fisher, and won a championship. Then you played for Alabama, Nick Saban, and won a championship. Which ring do you like the best?
I more so claim the Alabama one because I had more to do with it. But, it's kind of they're kind of the same guy to a certain extent. Jimbo being a little bit more high-strung and probably takes a lot less to get him fired up. But, he's on offense what Coach Saban is on defense. 2 guys that have a really, really high level of work ethic. And, you see that in recruiting. You see that in coaching. Guys that are at the top of their games. I think Jimbo's had a few rough years at A&M, but I think especially with Bobby Petrino helping out over there, we're going to see a whole new Texas A&M here moving forward. And they got a lot of experience at the quarterback position. Not so much a starter that's hurt, but to have Max Johnson sitting there waiting on them could possibly be even an upgrade for A&M this year.
Well, that's a lot to say, but the former LSU quarterback played against Alabama when he was at LSU. He's going to get the start today against the Crimson Tide. Nick Saban's defense is getting better and better. We saw them dominate. I thought they dominated against Mississippi State. Mississippi State got a few runs, but you could tell that they were kind of set up to stop the pass. They didn't feel like they were going to lose that way. What were your thoughts on that defense that you saw last week from Alabama?
Man, I thought it was, hey, we're going to dare you to throw the ball, which is, saying a lot when you're playing against Will Rogers, a guy who started, 4 years at Mississippi State. I think, confidence at the quarterback position is probably one of the most key attributes to a successful quarterback in the SEC. Guy who's seen a lot of different looks, a lot of talent. got 3 picks off the guy and really put pressure on him. So, and like you said, dominated all day on Saturday. So, I hope we can do the same with Max. I think Max, he's got a lot better players around him than Will Rogers had. So I see them scoring more points. We just got to keep up on offense.
You played for Nick Saban. You won a championship with Nick Saban. Jimbo Fisher had some comments about him a couple of years ago. Do you think Nick Saban let it go, or do you think somewhere in the back of his head he still remembers when he was, he said, I think he used the word despicable a few times. This guy's not God, stuff like that. Can you forget that? They're both from West Virginia, right? Is that just a normal West Virginia fight?
They've known each other a long time, and I know, Jimbo understands Coach Saban. Coach Saban understands Jimbo. I think Jimbo probably kind of has a chip on his shoulder and thinks about that from time to time. I think Coach Saban's just on to the next realm of responsibility, and I think they're past that. But if Jimbo gets his shot to score a few more touchdowns, I think he's going to take full advantage.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think Nick Saban deals with that every week, though, right? I mean, it seems like he's always playing against a former assistant. And he's been the best. Alabama's been the best for a long time. And I almost feel like with this team that it's really starting to mold into what we saw in 2009, where the offense doesn't really have to do as much. I don't think he wants them to mess it up for the defense, because the defense has the ability to score. We saw that. Chris Braswell's interception last week. Alabama had 3 interceptions. They're constantly pressuring the quarterback now. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like if he could just get them to run the ball, get positive plays, and rely on the defense, he's comfortable with that. I think this is Nick Saban football.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think this A&M team, talent-wise, is going to be the best team we face unless we play Georgia in the national championship. Probably the most talented team that we face all year. There's going to be a few games where we're going to have to score touchdowns to stay in the game. This one, I feel like is going to be one of those matchups.
Yeah, and I could see that as well with, an offense that has some playmakers out there. Anais Smith, his brother played at Alabama and wanted to transfer. Did you play with his brother, by the way? What was it, Marcès?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Mo Smith, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mo's a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand all those comments. That's one of those scenarios where back then there were transfer rules, and actually when I left Florida State, Jimbo could have blocked me anywhere within conference. Of course, I went to Alabama, SEC, right. So none of that came into play. But, that was one rule I didn't particularly like. I know Mo came in and did everything that he was asked to do at Alabama, so I was glad to see him fulfill his dream, much like I was able to do playing at Alabama. He was from Georgia, got to go back home and play for his home state, so glad it all worked out. But, as far as the Anais Smith comments, I mean, come on, man.
Right. I love, I'll tell you, honestly, I love it. I love the Lane Kiffin stuff. I love because I'm going to sit here and talk about this all week. Give me something to talk about.
It's what makes college football.
Yeah. Who was the best smack talker that you ever ran into in college, whether it be on your team or on another team?
I never really had too many guys talk too much trash. It was weird when we played A&M. The fans were the nicest fans you could have ever come across, and then they were probably a little bit more mouthy than anybody we had played. When I played against Auburn in the Iron Bowl,
a different animal.
Yeah, I mean, now there was some pretty good trash talk.
Mm-hmm. I've been there. Yeah, that's a whole different animal. You talk about that.
I don't know what kind of radio show this is, but I don't know if I can repeat all that.
no, this is we got to follow all the rules, right? The FCC rules. So we can't even talk about it.
Oh yeah, I had a high school teammate at Auburn who played linebacker. He played linebacker. Trey Williams was his name.
Yeah, and
I'll never forget the drive before we scored. After a touchdown pass to Darius Stewart, and we call a timeout, and I go to the sideline, and I'm walking back to the huddle. I look over, and we make eye contact, And I kind of give him a head nod. Hey, what's up? And he looks at me like he'd rather just see me get run over by. And I was like, all right, I'll remember that. Then we scored that next drive, and man, from then on out, every time I see him, I remind him about it.
Yeah, you weren't in high school anymore, right? That's so funny.
But I was like, okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah. How do you feel today's game? How do you think it's going to turn out?
I got to go, obviously, with my Crimson Tide. But, again, I feel like this is going to be one of the toughest tests, if not the toughest test we have all season. You play in Jordan-Hare. Obviously, there's that kind of mystical, they have all kinds of luck in there. And so that place is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as X's and O's, I see this, to me, is going to be the toughest game of the year, especially with Max Johnson in there. The previous quarterback who got injured, I thought he was a really talented guy, probably more so talented than Max. But Max is just a tough guy. He makes all the throws, and that's no slight at him. He can make all the throws and do whatever he needs to do. But he looks so comfortable back there.
Yeah.
And Arkansas did a lot last week, and he never seemed flustered. That team seems to play behind him. This is the most put together A&M team I feel like I've seen since Jimbo's been there.
Wow. Well, Alabama's got their work cut out for them. 2:30, Kyle Field in College Station. All right, last thing, the show when Alabama's on the road, we do it from the floor Bama. I got to tell you, just like a great player gets injured from time to time, 2015, I guess it would have had to have been maybe 2017. What was the year that Jalen Hurts was a freshman?
That was
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2017.
Well, 16, 17.
Yeah. At the floor Bama. I didn't know about it. It's really terrible, but I didn't know what a floater was and my bushwhacker. And so I didn't make it through the postgame show. Okay. So, it's just like a great athlete getting hurt.
Do your homework, man.
Yeah.
Watch some film.
I didn't make it. I didn't make it out of the postgame show. The same guy that I saw get heckled horribly, Ben George, at the game where Brody got sacked 12 times down at Auburn, was my partner at the time. And you talk about looks. He gave me what I refer to as a Hawaiian stink eye. When I used to live in Hawaii and people didn't like you, they'd give you the stink eye. This was on my way to not really remembering too much of the post-game show. Have you ever had an experience like that at the floor Bama?
At the floor Bama. I remember getting home every time I've been to the floor Bama. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't ask my wife about it on the way out. She reminds me about that a lot. But you know what? You become a legend of the greatest beach bar in the entire world when you go through something like that. Because then everybody else I talked to is like, oh, there was this one time where they threw me out or this happened. And I said, I think it's a great party.
Legend's a strong description.
We're talking Alabama and Texas A&M. Jake Coker, thank you so much, man. Roll Tide.
No, yeah. Thank you for having me.
That's Jake Coker. We're going to get back and talk some more about this game. The original Bama Tailgate Show rolls on right after this.